Good morning, Beth. My name is Anikaspar, and I spoke briefly with an individual by the name of Kevin yesterday who said it would be another 2 weeks before the firm would be able to do intake for myself and my group. So I just wanted to get his exact name because I keep really thorough notes to make sure, I'm not making any errors along my way. I don't need it. I don't want to bother him. I just need his last name. That's all. So Melanson. Melanson? Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Bye bye. You too. Hi, TI individuals. That was a firm in Rochester, which I don't know about. We'll see. That's actually looking at representing targeted individuals. I was introduced to them by someone wonderful from Rhode Island who I haven't spoken to since. Thank you, Rhode Island. And that's good news. Other councils still looking at our information, but my council's really monumentally large council, so you're talking about maybe having to court them for a while, and we'll see how that happens because this is a pretty, this is a pretty major thing to take on because it is really crimes against humanity. And absolutely, this brings me to where I wanted to speak this morning. If you would be so kind to spend some time with the definition of crimes against humanity and understand that overall definition, and then look at what has happened in your private claim, and only in integrity and truth and facts, not if nothing else. Don't No making up anything ever. See if your claims fit within the category of that. I'm 90% sure because I've done so much research, but I got even deeper that they do. But I just want to make sure. I want to make sure for you, for me, and for our moving group. Uh, this is mostly a petition for help and support because I'm really very good at certain things, writing, communicating, actually getting influential people to move and do something. Um, but I am sick from what I've gone through for 20 years, and especially the last 7 years, 8 years, which was, and 6 years ungodly. Um, so I have limited energy, and I also have a personal life that I try to maintain and be a place of great refuge and replenishment for me and my friends and the ones I love and who love me. So I need some help, and I need a core group right away. I need people who are expert in getting our message across the internet. I need people who are expert in putting together like videos. I need people who are expert in research. And when I say expert, I mean within our community expert, like really know how to do this and rock and roll it. I need people who are expert at putting together legal movements, and I have one person I am incredibly grateful for. God bless him, who has done something really monumental for us all, actually. So, which I won't share here because I'm keeping most things close to the chest to preserve our actions in our group. And just any way you think that you're going to be able to help, just please jump in and contact me at 941-356-8007 or at anikaspar, ANIKASPAR, at gmail.com. And visit my YouTube channel, Annie Kaspar. Um, it, it, I just want to, this is the last thing I'm going to say about this. But from the moment I joined the community, and this happened the last time I joined the community, I have been perped, really heavily perped for no reason that has anything to do with me. I am as difficult as any targeted individual is, or a listed individual is, given the level of assault that their life goes through on a daily basis. I'm off to Social Security this afternoon and drafting a letter to the Inspector General and everybody else in the world who has jurisdiction over them, and that also goes to the media too, because stealing $250,000 of my money and basically colluding with the IRS to murder me, because that's what this comes down to, is pretty intense stuff. So for those who are the perpetrators, who are making me out to be difficult, making me out to be all these evil things that I am not, I'm sorry you are who you are and that your tactics are what they are. But I have heard from many now that that's kind of the way it is and how it has been, and that your level of abuse has been noted by many TIs in the community. Sorry, so it's not me. And it's okay if you're unconscious of what you do, but it's not, because when you're a TI, one of the things that you are most responsible for is your own consciousness and your ability to stop in a moment of attack on anyone at any time, and to diffuse it and to bring it to compassion, love, empathy, joy, bliss, and to transform that moment into something really beautiful instead of something wicked. I have been through monumental pain. I have almost been made homeless, I don't know, 10 times since 2011. No, I'm sorry, 10 times since 2008. I had my numbers wrong. I have been attacked by 20, and when I say attacked, I shouldn't say just, that's the wrong word. It's more like I have been perpetrated against by more than 20 defendants, GOs and non-GOs, specific individuals. I have it all, of how in 2 countries, 3 countries, and 4 states. I've been through a lot. I know what it is to be through a lot, and I know what it is to transcend it and to actually be able to bring it to a positive moment for yourself as well as the perpetrators and for your entire community. And so I'm going to invite you to do that, and I'm going to invite you to cease and desist from all private or public slander, defamation, or libel of my person, etc. ad infinitum. I'm sorry to have to add that phrase, but my lawyers are telling me this is the thing to do. And my lawyers are specific to my situation, and they have been advising for a long time. And I know that the perps believe that they don't exist. Yeah, because I've monitored really carefully the way this is managed. And anyway, we're going to leave that at that. I want to say I've noticed the feverish activity in our community since I jumped on the 18th of January, a little earlier, but on the 18th. And I'm just happy, very, very happy that we're all like getting very feverish about terminating these programs, ending crimes against humanity, and getting true financial and just true remedy, period, for targeted individuals, who I don't even like to use that word because it's their energetic frequency for the listed, because it all begins by being put on a list. And that's where it begins. And I think to stay with the terminology that's most appropriate and least their terminology is probably the best. Recently, a wonderful listed individual shared with me that in internal documents, we're referred to as the empowered. So this is definitively a sociological, social engineering thing that is absolutely a massive exponential magnification of the Nazi and Japanese attempts in World War II, prior, during, and apparently we're after. So gross. I mean, really. I think about this often for myself. If I had the chance to be them and be delisted, and that was my choice, I would remain listed. I can't imagine being these creatures. Oh my God, can you imagine being that? The coldness, the cruelty, all the negative frequency emotions that must go with this, other than like some perverse sense of power. And I've been doing an enormous amount of research on Hitler lately to understand really well where this all came from, how it is what it is. And he was a military intelligence agent. And whenever he was harmed on the front in First World War, he was pulled off of it, and he was put way far away from the front and had these like extensive leisurely recovery periods. Interesting for an infantry dude. There are other peculiarities about him, and I'm not talking about conspiracy theory, although I know a lot of conspiracy theory is true, I know, but I'm talking about facts, hardcore facts that have evidence behind them, absolutely, without question. A lot of odd things about Adolf Hitler that are vaguely, that segue into some of the protocols about his person, not his programs, because obviously it's like this magnification. Hitler appears to have been listed. Many have been. Yogananda was. Yogananda was. I mean, we know, Martin Luther King was, and we know Gandhi was, but I mean, Yogananda was a pretty low key kind of guy. So let's, whatever we do here together, let's stay in the facts, let's stay in the evidence, let's stay in integrity, let's stay in honor, let's stay in all of those beautiful virtues that, by the way, you could see. Go check it out. The Map of Consciousness by David R. Hawkins. If you stay in the top third frequency, they can't touch you. But that means being able to stay in that frequency even when you have like leaf blowers going for hours on it. It's 45 minutes now. That's not the National Forest next door. There's no reason to leaf blow for 45 minutes, but it's okay. But stay in those frequencies. Again, the Map of Consciousness by David R. Hawkins. Stay up there. I think you're pretty unreachable there. And I think when you are in the lower frequencies, that's where, and I'm speculating here for sure because I don't have the science in front of me, forgive me. But I think that's when they can ride in best, is when you're in those lower frequencies. And I think when you're in the higher ones, it's much more difficult for them to invade in any way. So spend some time with that. Again, a request for support and help for my group. We're moving along beautifully. And I have a lot to do this weekend, which is supposed to be a weekend of fun. And I need to focus on the things that I really do well because I get them done. But I need help for the other aspects of our programs. And I mentioned them earlier, but please feel free to contact me directly. My information is below this video as well. Please continue to reach out to other listed individuals throughout the United States who you believe will benefit by submitting the UN letter. Check this out with the UN. Yesterday, I make my call. I can't get through to my contact. There's a new phone system at the UN. See, I've seen this so much when I start to move forward on this in the past 3 years. It's mind-blowing what they do to subvert my efforts. And it's not me. I'm actually just acting kind of like with source because these programs are so out of sync with organic open systems that it's just a complete contradistinction to the way and that natural systems evolve and express themselves and create new natural and open systems that, I'm doing just what's natural. But boy, it's amazing how threatening these natural kinds of efforts really are. So I may just work exclusively with Geneva, which maybe what has to be, because if I get a packet over to New York and I can't get to someone and I just get some ridiculous letter again, because I find out that the person I've been speaking with is now transferred or pre-retired, because I've gone through this many times with positive witnesses. I had a hotel in Ithaca, New York, who loved me. I stayed there for 6 weeks. Loved me. Entire place is filled with like angels. Be bought within a month of me leaving. I swear to God, be bought and everyone fired. So I'm used to this subversion. But that was the most extreme level. But I've seen it with lawyers, doctors, social workers, therapists, both physical and mental, because I have post-traumatic stress, like we all do. I've seen it with people with the ACLU. I've seen it with people in human rights commissions. I've seen it with people in National Organization of Now, people with the Cornell Women's Justice Center. I mean, I've seen this like shift, 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 hospital, shift. I mean, it's incredible. So unfortunately, this has happened with the UN person, and probably because it took so long. And the boys who run these programs had their 2 weeks, because they usually have to take 10 days to 2 weeks because they're slow and everything has to go through these channels and everybody has to sign off. And it's so obvious after going through this for years. Had their 2 weeks to shuffle everything. And then, of course, I get a call from this lawyer's office that says we need another 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah. So we'll see. But don't worry, I'm undeterred. Onward I go. And if we're not filing in New York, which is probably a wise idea because New York State seems to be pretty compromised in general, then we'll file in Geneva. And I do know this about Switzerland, as difficult as Switzerland might be. I do know the level of integrity that the Swiss have based on what they colluded with in World War II. And I know that also to be the case in Germany, although I've heard everybody gets perked in those places as well. And until I'm there and experiencing it, I have to take it with a grain of salt because when I was there, I never was perked. In fact, I found myself very well taken care of, same in Scandinavia, same in Asia. Although in Asia I did have a weird perp thing, but that's okay because that person just perps in general and it had nothing to do with being listed. He's just a perp. So uh, um, thank you again, everyone, for the really incredible quick activity that's happening in the targeted community. I need my supporters ASAP, please. More UN letters from other individuals. The folks I started to talk with early on before I got perked by the group and made out to be this evil demon, whatever, please come back into the fold because we're having success. And I know everybody's telling you there's going to be success anyway because it's all moving. But there's something about my efforts that are so true and organic that they keep the process really clean in general, even if I'm like an adjunct push. I've seen that many times because the process is probably going to be pretty corrupted. We see it with the revealing and the busting of the pedophile networks. I can't even go there, but that's a part of the listing. That's part of that whole phenomena. But we're seeing, what's going to happen is the deep state, I'm using that term because it's a good metaphor, is going to throw people under the bus, throw people under the bus, throw people under the bus, until, they've thrown up, everybody under the bus except themselves to prevent prosecution and jail time. Because what has been done by them to the world, not just to the listed, to the world, are crimes against life, which should be a whole new category of law and international law that all nations should be forced to sign. Not forced, but really, I mean, come on. Not to mention, of course, crimes against humanity, of which they are vastly guilty. Spend time with crimes against humanity. And make sure your claim, just make sure your claim is truthful. We'll deal with the categories of law after. Just be truthful because the commonality of claims is so strong. I'm not too worried about the different law we'd have to use to prosecute and to move forward. But spend some time with crimes against humanity because there's no question that's what these are. Long video. I apologize. Have a beautiful day. Blessings.